Well, hello everyone, and welcome to today's webinar, The Assistant Real Estate Professional as a Profit Center with VP of MAPS, Monica Reynolds. Please note this webinar is being recorded and you will automatically receive the webinar recording. If you have questions for your coach, please type them into the questions box located at the bottom of your screen. Following the webinar, if you have any questions about today's call or coaching programs, please email us at fasttrack@kw.com. That's all for me, Monica. Take it away.
Okay, great. I'm just getting my screen set up a little bit better here. Hey, everyone. I'm Monica Reynolds. I'm the VP of MAPS. And of course, that's Keller Williams Coaching Company. So I'm very excited to talk to you guys today. And, you know, I pretty much dug the well on assistants, and probably before a lot of you were born or thinking about real estate. I was writing books in the 90s. In fact, I met Gary Keller at a seminar that I was speaking at, and he came up to me and he goes, "You're the person that wrote that book on assistants, right?" This was like 1990, 92, something like that. And I said, "Yes." And he asked me a whole bunch of questions. And I said, "Who's that guy?" And they said, "Oh, that's Gary Keller. He's starting that new franchise, Keller Williams." And I go, "Oh, good luck with that. Here I am. I work for him." So long story, full circle, right? So with that said, you know, I wrote books on assistants and building teams then. And so I dug the well, and I really understand the power of a great assistant. I understand the power of how they can be a profit center and basically free. Real estate assistants are free when you look at what their power, what they can do and how they support you as an agent, but most importantly, how they support your client for repeat and referral business. So I'm going to talk about a few of those things. So Chris, let's go to the next slide on the questions. So I want you to think about asking yourself these questions. How is your assistant a measurable profit center for you? I'm going to give you some clear direction on how to look at, is it a 4-time return, a 10-time return, return of investment, the ROI, right? Does your assistant bring business to your team? So every single person is a salesperson. And sometimes I've had assistants say, "Well, I'm not a salesperson. I'm admin. I'm not a salesperson." And I go, "Oh, yes, you are a salesperson." I said, "Let me ask you a question. Are you married? Do you have a spouse? Do you have a boyfriend? Do you have a girlfriend? Do you have kids? Do you have parents? Do you have siblings? You've been selling something your whole life to someone about something. It could be what we're having for dinner, what we're going to do this weekend, or what I'm going to buy, what we're going to buy as a family, or what trip we're going to go on." Everybody's a salesperson. And so I make it part of the culture that everybody supports the team and the goals, and they're rewarded accordingly. Now, as I go through this, if you have any questions, you get to put them in the chat box, and I'm going to answer those questions today before you get off the call. Has your assistant increased business versus only being focused on doing the business? So doing the business, putting systems into place, obviously, are extremely important. But also they're coming to you with ideas and thinking about, hey, we could do this more efficiently, or here's an idea. Some of the best ideas I've got from my assistants. And when you ask for help, you ask for how do we do this better? They're the best people to tell you, and yet we have to validate that and their contribution. Is it a requirement of employment for your assistants to increase the business? Well, I say sure. And then I say, it's part of who we are. Everyone participates and everyone benefits. So the more business I do as an agent, the better off my assistants are personally, financially, and they grow also. And so I want you to think about that. So it's a natural part of the culture. We all grow the business. All right, so let's go to the next slide and get into a few of these things. So, you know, there's 5 easy ways for your assistant to be a profit center. And I'm going to talk a lot more than 5. Build duplicatable and scalable businesses, and they're the CEO of the file. What would it be like for your life to know that every file has every T crossed, the I's dotted, and that your assistant in a 1 to 10 is 12 on a customer service and customer experience? What does that mean when he or she is that kind of leverage for you? What about increasing the database, going from 1,000 clients to 2,500? What about cleaning up the database with completes, name, address, phone number, and email? What about that? What is the value of your database? Hey, agents, guess what? The only asset you have is your database. That's your only asset. And how much time do you spend on your database? And is it in your schedule? Should it be in your assistant's schedule? Absolutely, without a doubt. And you have to have systems to increase that. Gary Keller always says a minimum of 3 new entries every single day: name, address, phone number, and email. And when your assistant's purposeful about that, and you are, it's easy to do. So help with client and past client events and communication, sure. Past client events, it's great to have somebody organize all that, organize the vendors, organize the whole thing, and you just show up. It's showtime for you. And I'll go through that too. Develop repeat and referral business. There's nothing like a highly trained assistant who is your extension, who is your leverage, that asks each client, by the way, thanks for working with our team. We so appreciate your business. Is there anything else we can do to help you today? Great. Could I ask you a favor? Our business is based on referrals from great people like you. Who do you know right now is thinking about buying or selling? If you ask, you're going to find some answers that are going to go, well, I can't think of anybody right now. But now we've started the chain of asking them, oh, you know what? I'm going to find someone for you next week. Or, gosh, thanks for asking. You know, I might have someone for you. If we don't ask, there is no answer. By asking, we're setting up the stage. We're putting the domino in fact that this is what we'd like to do. During our time together, I'd like to ask you, could you help our team? Because we so appreciate working with you. We'd love another great client like you. Could you help us find another buyer or seller during our time working together? Ask them. They're going to say, sure, sure. Okay, so develop programs for vendor contribution. I get RESPA. I know what they can do and what they can't do. And yet they're a real asset. We absolutely call them with business. And so there's ways that they can support us legally and things that they can do to help you. So let's go to the next slide, Mr. Chris. So on this particular slide, we're going to talk about duplicating and scaling our business. So systems are critical. So when you go to analyze each one of these systems, so in the Perfect Real Estate Assistant training, I just got off of 3 one-hour calls this month on building a closing system, the transaction. And there were a lot of assistants on there who had been in the business a long time, and they're going, oh, I love this letter. I love this system. You know, I never thought of it this way. Those systems, even when you say to yourself right now, you know, I've got pretty good systems, constant and never ending improvement. You might want to write that down. Constant, never ending improvement. So here's the thing. I'm coming to your office on Monday, and I'm going to look at your listing, closing, referral, recruiting, tracking numbers, profit and loss, and your lead generation. How are your systems if I came to approve those and look at them and review them with you? Are you ready for me on Monday, or would you be scrambling right now? So I'm asking you, this is your business. You're not just a real estate agent who sells houses. This is big business. This is one of the best careers in the entire world for assistants and for agents. There is no ceiling to the income. There's no cul-de-sac, of income. These are opportunities. So increasing the business with excellent customer service, having systems in place, setting expectations with the client, defining the goals, for you and your team and what that customer experience is like, that you're absolutely going to have scalable profitability. And most importantly, you're going to be able to manage the client expectations to build repeat and referral business. So look at those lists right there. How would you rate those systems? I'm coming on Monday. Not really, but if I were, what would you have to do? All right, next slide, Mr. Chris, on number 2, the growth and importance of your database. Let's go to that one, number 2. So the growth importance of your database as an asset. So this is your only asset. It's not your Louis Vuitton bag, and it's not your Lexus or anything, or your Escalade or any of that. This is your asset, is your database. Who do you know? Who do you know? And in that database, what percentage of business comes from your database? So ROI, return on investment. Let's talk about this. Let's say that your assistant helps put up a social media campaign, puts up a marketing campaign, helps you with your videos, edits them, gets them out on Facebook, gets them into the database, sends them out. Monica did it again with a list of all the souls that I've had this year, or in your name there. Jeff did it again. Richard did it again. Whatever it happens to be. And let's say that you really track what comes out of your database. Oh, we got your email. Oh, I just hear from you guys all the time. Yes, the slides will be available. We'll send those out to you with the recording. And so the question that I'm going to ask you right now is, if you saw a direct increase because your assistant was in control of the database and it was measurable, meaning how many completes do you have today? Name, address, phone number, and email. How many completes do you have today? And what is the goal by the end of the year for completes? Name, address, phone number, and email. And your assistant's monitoring that number. So when you look at your numbers monthly, it's number of listing appointments, number of listings taken, number of listings sold, buyer sales, buyer agency contracts, closed, etc. But add database. This is your asset. Add database. Now, what's great about the database is that, let's say that you grew your database this year. You doubled it. You went from 1,000 to 2,000. There's people you hadn't put in there and your assistant did all the work. And let's just hypothetically say that you did 10 transactions from database, but now with a marketing campaign, 33 touch, the videos that you were sending out, you had a client appreciation party that your assistant did for you. Now you did 20 deals next year. And it's a direct relationship to making sure that they were in the database, that they got a call each quarter because your assistant organized that for you. And all this marketing went out to them and all these different things that you were telling them through your videos or through your emails. And now you went to 20 deals. So I want you to say to yourself that that is because you didn't do it, but your assistant did. And so that was 10 extra deals. Your average commission was 100,000. So, I mean, your average commission, wouldn't that be great? I'd love that number, is 10,000. So that's $100,000 more of income. Did that pay for your assistant and then some? Yes. So that's the method on how to think through this. So you want to organize your database by agent, who's in command in Kelly, the team, because I have a team and I've got 2 assistants and 3 buyer agents, their database goes into my database with a field with their initials. I will pay them accordingly. And then it's vendor, like who are your affiliates, your sphere of influence or COI, center of influence, and past clients. So you always want to organize it like that so you see where the referrals are coming from. Some agents will say to me, oh yeah, I've got 22% referral business. I go, great. Where's it from? Oh, everywhere. How many past clients? Well, I don't know. We'll go check. They come back later and they say, I don't have any from past clients. And I go, what does that tell you? You've got a hole there. You've got something to work on, which your assistant with a return of investment could do for you. Okay, let's go to number 3. Working with past clients. Okay, so, it's all about the relationships. And now that the world is starting to open again, even California has opened, you can get back to these connections with the past clients. And maybe it's the client appreciation party. My favorite is the shredding party right after tax time. Well, in Texas, we just had our tax time this week. We were extended all the way because of our storms. In Texas, we had no power for a week. That was pleasant, 30 below zero. So I want you to hear that you can have this done by your assistant to organize all this. There's a system for that. Maybe it's a movie night. Maybe it's a home improvement class. Maybe it's how to get your home ready for sale. Any one of those things. And so it doesn't have to be just this. What are some of the connections? I've heard of a lot of people who have, during the pandemic, that they would have virtual wine tasting parties where wine was sent over to the client and they got on a Zoom call and, they had a wine tasting. They had the wine connoisseur with it, whatever, sommelier, can hardly say that name, would talk about the wine and what to have with it, all that other stuff that they talk about, whatever. So just try to think about what is the relationship and where can your assistant get involved. Now, the one I want to go to is number 4, and that's where I want to spend just a few more minutes on number 4. So repeat and referral business. Thank you for working with our team. We so appreciate your business. May I ask you a favor? Our business is based on referrals from great people like you. Who do you know right now is thinking about buying or selling? Thank you for thinking about that today, whatever their answer is. So it doesn't matter where it is in the process of anything. It doesn't matter if you're calling them once a quarter. And by the way, an unlicensed assistant can call your database also. Now, I'm not a big proponent of turning them into a ISA, a telemarketer, someone who makes calls all day long. However, I love the fact that, go back to that other slide, Chris, number 4. Yeah. Thank you. What I'm trying to share with you is that what I want to share with you, not trying, I want to share with you is that, you know, when you have your assistant called maybe during holiday call to some of the clients from last year that he or she worked with, that's a great thing. Hi, this is Jane with Monica Reynolds' office. Hey, do you have a minute? Great. Haven't talked to you guys in a long time. Just, you know, Monica and I wanted to reach out to you, wish you a happy holiday, see how things are going. How are you guys doing? You know, great. And how are the kids and all that? You guys as assistants on this call, you know these people. And yet it's about the relationship. So I want you to write down these 3 letters, RER, relationship, experience, and then also relationship, experience, results. RER, relationship, experience, results. So when the relationship is built, you can build a moat around your database. When you have the experiences like, you know, client appreciation party, you're taking out 2 or 3 clients together for dinner that should meet each other, that you've sold homes to that have similar backgrounds. It would be great to meet each other. They moved into the community. What are the experiences that they're getting? Plus the experience during the transaction. So in the perfect real estate assistant, I teach the assistants that there's no such thing as over communicating. You know, it's call, email, call. People are under a lot of stress. The systems are you're calling regularly and often. Every day is good, and I have all the scripts for that. The real kicker here is that every single client that you have right now that you're working with, you should get 1 review and 1 referral out of. And so as a busy agent, you're saying, oh gosh, you're gonna add that to my list. No. What about your assistant? So let's say that your assistant gets, let's say that it goes a little slower for you. You've got 5 clients closing this month. And let's say that you got 1 referral out of the 5. Your average commission is $10,000. Okay, that's pretty good. Now, I don't pay an assistant for a referral on a current client. So that's $10,000 that the assistant helped pay for them to be a profit center toward their salary. Now, if they did that every month, free assistant, right? And yet it's the mindset, it's the culture you develop that everybody contributes. Your assistant is the secret weapon. You need very comprehensive systems that have strong accountability for you and your assistant. So for example, in the listing checklist, there should be a review part where they ask for a review, and there should be a check where they ask for referrals. And they don't check it off until they get one. And again, it's about role playing. It's about the scripts with those assistants. Your assistant is your secret weapon. They are your leverage. And I always like to say sometimes they're the cleanup crew on things that should be happening. Okay, so where can you get these? The assistant program, of course. And some of these are here, right here. So for example, you know, if you're looking at repeat and referral business, the script is the same thing for as far as when you go to ask for a review. Hey, thanks for working with our teams. Thank you so much for noticing that. So when anyone says anything great about the transaction, then what you're going to say back is, oh, thanks for noticing that we got that sign up right away. We so appreciate that. Can I ask you a favor? Our business is based on reviews from great people like you. Can I have you give us a great 5-star review and mention our team? That's what the assistant does. And I train them during Perfect Real Estate Assistant class to always think about where's the review, where's the referral on every single client. Now, should you as an agent be doing the same thing? Absolutely. It's a team effort. Somebody get something out of that client during that time. And yet you go back to the systems. You have to have impeccable systems. You have to have thank you letters for listing with us, thank you letter for closing with us. All of those systems are part of the whole experience. So it's relationship, experience delivers the results. All right, so let's go to number 5, and you can put your questions in the chat box. So this is kind of an odd one. You're going to go, well, you know, how does this help? Oh, it helps a lot, let me tell you. All right, let me share with you. So the vendors, in my opinion, your partners that you use on a regular basis. So that's the kicker there. You have to commit and work with someone on a regular basis. So I worked with a lender on a regular basis. I worked absolutely with title on a regular basis, HOA, home inspector. I had my go-to people. And I asked them that said, I'm going to pledge my business to you. Every opportunity I get, you will get the business. And what I'm asking, you will get my business. And here's my goals for this year. And here's what I need from you. And during this time, I would like to get at least one referral per month from you. Now that's a big order. I get it. And most of them pushed back. Of course they did. I expected them to. Well, we have other agents. And I go, yeah, I know. And I'm forming a partnership with you. So I just want to make sure that you want to be part of my partnership, because we pledge our business 100% to you every single chance we have. And all I'm asking is that you absolutely have a commitment to help us find at least one referral a month. Now, if worst case is, let's make that one a quarter. Well, for most of you out there, you're not getting any from any of them. And they do know people. They do move around themselves. They do have people that they know. And if it's on top of mind that they need to help you, why do we have to always give them business and we don't get anything back? And then one agent pushed back and said, well, I get excellent customer service. And I go, so do I. And that's what I expect. But I also expect them to support my business because I support their business. So you find the right affiliates. Now, I don't do any of this. My assistant does this. My assistant is trained to absolutely have those conversations and quarterly meet with the vendors and say, by the way, we gave you 12 transactions this last quarter. And I just want to remind you that we would love to have a referral from you. Now, the other thing that I do is that whether it's a termite company or what title company, whatever it is, I said, I'd like to have a list of your employees, their name, address, phone number, and email. Tell them that you're giving it to me. And that I'm going to, send them an email saying that if they have any real estate questions, to call me. If they have any friends or family, we'd love to help them, because they're in the business. When you have a processor, they're in the business, but they don't have a relationship probably with an agent or an assistant at a high level. I want to be that person that they think of. And most agents don't take the time to do that because they're too busy, but the leverage of a great assistant. Now, I get what it is on RESPA. However, they can contribute, not to you personally, a check or anything, for any kind of appreciation parties. They can do printing. I've had vendors who have run errands for us. They've taken pre-list packages over to buyers and sellers. So I'm just asking you to think about it, and go to the next level on that. Okay. All right, so before I open this up for questions, because I respect your time, I want to review a couple of things. Number one, it is really important to think of your assistant as your support, your leverage. They are an extension of you, and they are the person that gets the repeat business, the referrals, the reviews, and has this excellent customer experience where they're always mentioning your name. They're always saying, Monica asked that I call as part of our customer service. They're keeping you in the loop. And this experience of buying a house or selling a house is setting them up for success. And we always say it's real estate people on a scale of 1 to 10. We want to deliver a 12 experience. Your assistant has to role play some of those scripts with you. They are an extension. They are free with a return on investment when they are building your database. They are building your systems. They're creating that customer experience. So let me share with you the difference, customer service versus customer experience. Customer service is when a listing manager will call and say, are there any, just thank you for listing with us. Do you have a few minutes, blah, blah. Can I ask you a couple of questions? Are there any pets on the premise? Well, yeah, didn't Monica tell you? We've got a dog named Tank. Now, here's customer experience. Wow, I'm so excited. You've got the coolest family member named Tank. I hear he's great, and he has his own bedroom. He watches dog TV. Now, Tank is a 250-pound Rottweiler that happens to be their son, their child. It's this dog. He has a bedroom. He has his own couch. He watches TV all day. It's a person to them. And so when you say, are there any pets on the premise? Well, there's Tank. No, hey, I hear you have a cool family member. I'd love to meet that guy sometime. I hear he likes his dog TV channel. That's so cool. That's a customer experience. We need to set ourselves apart. If you don't have these experiences with these clients and they don't feel like you've made them feel important, so I teach the assistants in training, MMFI, make me feel important, then you're not going to get that repeat and referral business. And Zillow, the real estate company, is going to come and take those clients from you, which brings up another question or something I want to share with you. Showing time allows Zillow to tap into your clients and their information. I've never had showing time. I've never had any internet service doing that. That's just one way to make it easy. In assistant training, I'm going to give you one last tip before I go on to something else. And that is, I always had my assistants make the call to see what the showing was like. Now, I know in this fast-paced world, market of the moment, not necessary in most cases, because there's one showing, there's one offer. There's 10 showings, there's 10 offers. However, now I'm starting to see a little bit of a shift. Just saying, in June, I'm hearing from around the country that listings are going up and they're not selling over the weekend, or they didn't get multiple offers over the weekend. And I'm hearing about price reductions. So when you're starting to get that, you want the buyer agent feedback. So you have your assistant call and say, hi, Jane, this is Stephanie with Monica Reynolds' office. I thank you for showing the property. Monica wanted me to reach out. Do you have 1 minute? I have 3 quick questions for you. Okay, sure. What? Is your buyer writing an offer? That's question number 1 if you want to write it down. Number 2, what would it take for your buyer to write an offer? What would it take for your buyer to write an offer? And then number 3, Monica appreciates your opinion. What do you feel the house will sell for? What do you feel the house will sell for? People will be more honest than they are filling out a survey. I never was totally honest on those surveys because I knew it was going to go back to the seller and I didn't want to make them mad. So I said, great house, just not the right, house for them, just broad, nothing. However, sometimes you can find out what it would take for them to buy that house, and there might be something that you can work out. So with that said, Chris, let's go to the next slide and then I'll answer any questions that are in the chat box. So the next thing that you're looking at here now for everyone is that I have the perfect real estate assistant class. I have a 450-page policy and procedures manual, every checklist, every letter, every system, every script known to man, I have either written or stole from the best, borrowed, because there's no new secrets in real estate, and tweaked them up. So the material is relevant and is absolutely how to build an assistant with an ROI, return on investment. They are a profit center, and every assistant I've had has always made me lots of money, and that can happen for you. So it's July 7th, and if you go to mapscoaching.com/group, you can enter in the discount code WEB100 to save $100 off. Okay, so let me give you a little bit more detail. It's $195 a month, and $199 a month, excuse me, and it's for 6 months. The first call, listen to this, agents, the first call every single month is for you as an agent to help you be a great boss. The turnover for a great assistant is really high because as agents, and I had the same challenge, we're not great bosses because we're great salespeople. We haven't been trained to be a boss or a leader. And so those first calls of every month, I help you to be a great boss/leader. But also, I share with you what your assistant is going to be working on so we can work as a team together so that we're very, very clear in working as a team together that you are going to move through these systems. You will never be hostage to any leverage when you build these systems. So as your assistants maybe come and go, you're going to have these systems into place. There's over 450 pages of a policy and procedures manual. So sign up, love to have you on those calls. Okay, Chris, let's just go back to the first screen. We can take that one off and let me answer, well, leave it on, that's okay. Let me answer some of these questions here. Let me see if I've already signed up. Thank you, Jesse Kern. How long is the class? It's 6 months. They're 1-hour calls 3 times a week. They are recorded if you miss a call. And what's great about the recording, after the 6 months, they're available for 2 months after that. And every single week, you're going to get 30 to 40 pages of the policy and procedures. You don't need to reinvent the wheel. It's all about systems. Get it done, forget about it. Let your assistant be the one who makes the improvements and grows the systems. Let's see. Could this work for community partners like schools, pediatricians, restaurant? Or are we just doing this real estate vendors? You know, that's an interesting question. So when I look at that question, I relate it back to the vendors in real estate that I look at, and I mean this kindly, I line their pockets. We call them and say, hey, we just pinned in 2 listings over the weekend, you know, here's your title order. So they're waiting for us to give them business. We give them business. Now, I've seen relationships that you can develop outside of that world of the vendor support. So, you know, I know of one particular agent who had a really, really good relationship with a man who owned several dry cleaners in town. So she had her cards in there and they referred back business back and forth. All the new clients that she had, she always gave them a coupon for $10 off to go use that dry cleaner, came from the dry cleaner, or $20 off, or 25% off, or 50% off the first order. So she always gave them as part of her package when they closed. And so I want you to hear that yes, you can build those kind of relationships. You just need to know the owners, or need to know the key people, the managers, and those different things, and say, how can we mutually support each other? The other thing I like about this question I'll share with you is that a lot of agents, top mega agents, and this is where your assistant becomes the ROI on this, will go out and shoot a video and say, hey, I'm in Hillcrest area and I'm at XYZ ice cream store. And if you mention my name, you're going to get, you know, 10% off your order or whatever. And here's my favorite ice cream. And I'd like to introduce you to the man who started this business. Hey, Jim, come over here and say hello and tell us, why are you in the ice cream business? So they'll do these 3-minute vignettes. Now remember, 3 minutes or less, and you're introducing different, you know, communities or different businesses in your community, and you're putting it on your Facebook, you're sending it out in your database. Not you, your assistant is. Your assistant is. I've got an agent in Dallas that I know that sends one out every single week, and her assistant has learned how to clip it, how to edit it, how to put a nice border on it. So it'll say feature business of the week. And it'll be like ice cream store, dry cleaner, you know, it could be a Montessori school that's just opened up. It can be all of those things. And do you see that that question is so great? Who asked that question? Because now your assistant has an ROI. Your assistant is now helping you put those together, and yet you're building that bridge of relationship into those businesses. Those businesses now think of you. They're getting business because of you. And you're able to provide a small discount sometimes to go to those businesses. What a great idea. Good question there. Let's see. Yes, you'll get the slides. Kanai, constant and never-ending improvement. Okay. Put any questions in the chat box if you have any. Would you say this training you offer is sort of the Bold for assistants? I'm assistant currently in Bold. I love that you're in Bold. That's amazing. This is the systems that you don't get in Bold. Like, they're not going to give you a listing checklist. They're not going to give you the thank you for listing with us letter. They're not going to give you the vendor scripts. They're not going to give you the assistant scripts of, you know, bringing 200 people to the database and you're asking your friends and family and past coworkers, hey, this is Monica. I just joined blank blank's team and I'm so excited. You know, she's the #1 agent in the area. And I just wanted to let you know, if you have any real estate questions, call me first. I'd love to help you. And so, of course, you know, Bold is great for a lot of the big picture of what an agent does. And this is specific for assistants, but it's also for agents, because I learned a long time ago, the first call of every month, if I teach the agents what you're learning, I'm your best friend, because I teach them how to set up expectations and what is reasonable. So if you have a question, put it in the chat box, please. Okay, all right, so let's do this. So here's my reminder for this time. July 7th, sign up if you want the systems to be duplicatable and scalable. Whether you're doing 10 transactions, 100, or 1,000, it doesn't matter. They're all duplicatable and scalable. The assistant is basically free when you teach them and you learn that they are great leverage for building that database, building the systems, getting that repeat and referral business. And obviously, the bottom line is that your business grows and your assistant grows with you. It's not a cul-de-sac job. It's challenging. Real estate is the best career in the world. So again, go to mapscoaching.com/group, enter in the discount code WEB100 to save $100 off the first month. I so appreciate you guys being on the call today, and I thank you. Have an awesome, awesome week. Look forward to talking to you in the future. Thanks, everybody. Bye-bye.